Hello, my friends. Fram. Although I maybe don't want to call you Fram today because being a family member this week is a little difficult because we're dealing with some real family issues. Earlier this week, I made a video on this channel with my mom talking about my sister's wedding, which was a beautiful day and she was very happy. That's what matters the most. If you didn't watch that video, I also mentioned that I was hurt by what happened then, which was me being snubbed and not asked to give a toast or do a dance with my sister at the wedding. I also spoke about it on the podcast this week. And I am the realest MFer around, okay? I spoke about it on my podcast and in that video with my mom this week because I was hurt. And being honest is sometimes hurtful to people. Being honest publicly is maybe even more hurtful to people. On some level, I wanted to hurt my sister. I own that. I accept it. The truth is a sword oftentimes. But I don't regret it. Just like she doesn't regret what she did on her wedding day. And she shouldn't. There's so many developments. Do I think it's bad that I spoke publicly about my hurt from my sister's wedding? No. I think it was petty of me. The classier thing to do would have been to deal with it privately or ignore it, not even deal with it, to keep it buried deep down inside and not have let my sister know. That would have been the classiest thing to do. I don't know if that would have been the healthiest thing to do. The reason I didn't address it with my sister is I didn't see a point in it. My sister is my sister, and I love her, but she has a hard time, as do I, but she has a worse time accepting when she's wrong, acknowledging it. And not that she was wrong. She wasn't wrong. But I just saw no point in having a conversation with my sister. I didn't want her to apologize. So I didn't talk to her. She listened to my podcast. Probably didn't watch the video I made with my mom. And she, in typical sister fashion, emailed me and CC'd my podcast co-host, Chris Booker, and gave me bullet points about why she chose the things she chose on her wedding, which made me feel little, made me feel not special, made me feel like any other groomsman. I mean, yeah, I was a groomsman. That's awesome. But I'm her brother, her only brother. Our dad is dead. I felt like I was representing him as well. And anyways, let's just get right into it, okay? Let me read to you guys what my sister emailed me, which she didn't ask to keep it private. And since I made this all public anyways, I'm just going to continue. And also because, frankly, I think what she said is BS. So maybe she'll watch this video and respond to it as well. My sister emailed and said, just an FYI, Perez is mistaken or just gave his own perspective. Number one, my mom walked me down and gave me away because she raised me since I was 9. I danced with only my mom because there's 3 dances in a wedding: father bride, mother groom, and bridegroom. Okay, I didn't need to either walk her down the aisle or do a dance with her. I just wanted something, okay? It could have been a little toast. It could have been anything. But nothing happened. Number 2, she said, I thanked him for donating, but it was very generous, but it wasn't a third. It was less than 1/6. We saved up and paid a lot. Tom paid most. He sold his Mustang. Weddings are expensive. All right, well, I didn't know that. I gave incorrect info for that. I am sorry, and I was mistaken. I was basing it off of my video earlier in the week when my mom told me that the wedding was costing my sister $300 per person. So I did the math. There was 100 people there. I was like, okay, I gave her this much. I didn't take into account anything else, which my mom must not have either. She said, oh, it cost $300 per person. So that's what I was basing my math off. But that's neither here nor there. Even if I gave my sister no money, I would have still liked to have done something at her wedding. I would have liked to have done half of a dance with her or a quick toast, something, anything. Once again, nothing happened. Number 3, then for speeches, it was bride, maid of honor, and best man. Oh, wait. Then for speeches, it was this keeps moving. Then for speeches, it was bridegroom, maid of honor, and best man. We did think about the wedding and decided we didn't want an open mic unless requested. DJ and coordinator both suggested we shouldn't as well. Weddings aren't long and there's a lot to do. 3 dances, speeches, garter belt, bouquet toss, cake cutting, dinner, photos, photo booth, etc. We didn't add any more speeches to the reception because if we would have had to include my brother, my mom, Tom's mom, his family, etc. And everyone would give a speech at the wedding. And the wedding would be more about sitting and listening and less dancing and drinking, parentheses, open bar. And we wanted people to have fun. That's why we opted to not even have a slideshow. We even opted to pay for an extra hour just to have more time with guests, and it still wasn't enough time. Okay, I get that. If they would have told me that they wanted a speech and keep it to a minute, just a toast, not even a speech, a toast. A toast is a brief thing. I could have kept my thing to 60 seconds or less. And frankly, I think my mom should have spoken. And I think that the groom's mom should have spoken too. That's me. The groom's brother and sister spoke because the groom's brother was the best man also. And then he just brought his sister to tag along. I am a family person. I think, the family should have, if it added 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, then so be it. That's my thought. But you know what? It's not my wedding. I get that. And if, like I said before on my podcast, if she was concerned with what I said, I would have told her what I would have said ahead of time. And no, I didn't want to ask. It wasn't my place to ask. It wasn't my wedding. I shouldn't tell her what to do on her wedding. I wanted to be asked. I wanted or even if I wasn't asked, it would have been nice to have had an explanation saying, hey, this is what we're going to do at the wedding and this is why. And then if that would have been told to me, then I would have been like, oh, well, I don't need to do a speech. I would love to just do a toast and I could keep it to 60 seconds. So hopefully you watching this, if you're not married yet and you're going to get married, you can learn from this and address it with family members. Be like, we're only going to have the maid of honor speech and the best man speech. Everybody else, if you want to speak, just a toast. A toast is brief. I'm old school. I think families should do that. I would have loved to have been asked. I wasn't. To me, that hurt. She says, number 5, and we did include him and Tom's sister in the wedding by having both of them walk the ceremony, and I had all of your kids walk the wedding too instead of Tom's nieces and nephews. Okay, that's cool. I would have had Tom's nieces and nephews walk the wedding as well. Why didn't you? It's like, her wedding, they didn't choose to have my now brother-in-laws, all of them Actually, none of his nieces and nephews walked the wedding. I would have. What? Why not? A bigger wedding party. Who cares? Okay, like, whatevs. Number 6, and obviously if you wanted to give a speech, we wouldn't have said no, you didn't ask. And we weren't going to drag out the reception when we wanted to party with the guests. I wasn't going to ask. To me, that's not my place. It would have been lame. It was... It almost was humiliating. Like, I didn't want to have to ask my sister to give a speech or a toast or a dance or anything at her wedding. I would have thought and hoped and loved for her to want me to do that and ask me to do that. She says, lastly, I could have danced with him at any time during the party, but he stayed on his phone at the table all night long, whereas others came up and danced with me during the evening. Well, that's not true. I wasn't on my phone the whole time. I was on my phone occasionally throughout the night. And I didn't go up because I didn't think I would be in a bad mood, but I got progressively in a worse mood as the night went on. And I got more sad and more hurt as the night went on. She says, and no, I'm not upset at anyone. I appreciate you. I just wish you would have said you really wanted to give a toast. We wouldn't have said no. And then she ended it with a smiley face. So it is what it is. It happened. And hopefully you guys can learn from this. Weddings are your special day. But weddings are not a selfish act. If it is, then elope. If you're going to have a wedding, I think it's for the families and friends and not just for you. And not just for your friends either. I don't know. It is what it is. My sister ain't going to be speaking at my wedding or dancing with me. She'll be invited. I'll make her a bridesmaid. I'll put her in equal footing with how she treated me. You know, I mean, this goes back to larger issues with my sister and I. It's exhausting to always feel like it's expected of you to rise above because you're the older sibling. A lifetime of, and I don't always, but a lifetime of that expectation is exhausting. It sucks. I mean, I wish I wasn't hurt, but it means that I cared. It means that I care. I don't know. There's a lot to digest and process. And I'd love to know your thoughts. This is quite a meaty video. Let me know in the comments section down below what you think about everything. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, leave a comment, follow, subscribe, share. I love you.